I'm reminded, I was speaking to my last guest. We talked longer than we actually had the interview. Oops. But he told me the story of Jim Carrey's dad, where he said he wanted to be a comedian, but he became an accountant because it was safer, and he just basically bombed that. And
Exactly.
yeah, and I remember I've referenced him quite a few times on the show, Stephen Bartlett, where he says, if it's a no, trust that instinct and then figure out the details later. Boys, that saved me a few times.
Absolutely. You know, another cool thing that I've came up with and I teach my students in the reality masters, and this is like in the first really module where, before start creating anything, we really need to sit down and figure out ourselves first. It's like because it's like sometimes it's a hot mess up there. It's like we have lots of desires, lots of emotions, lots of this, lots of that, and no clarity really at the end. So it's very important to before you start building anything or invest in your energy to understand whether it's your real pursuit or not, whether it's your true desire from your heart or not. So you won't waste your time. And what we usually do, we are not creating our wish list out of just what I wish to have, what I wish to be. We trying to come up with, probably 7 whys exercise where you're trying to ask yourself why I want this. Why is it important to be 7 times? Like, for instance, let's say you want X amount of income per month, right? And you ask yourself, like, why do I want particular that amount? And like, what is it going to make me feel like? And you're like, well, because I want to cover comfortable life plus have extra, right? Then you ask yourself, well, why? Why you want to have comfortable life plus extra?
Oh, so it's like a chain reaction thing. It's like,
Yep.
why? Got it.
Exactly. So at the end, what it does, it really gets to a point of what is it? Because every single material thing or experience we want, it's because we want to feel certain way. It's not because the thing that we want. It's not because the experience is gonna make us feel certain way. So we're trying to get deep down to what is it we're trying to feel. And it's interesting when even if the person has 20, let's say, desires, 20 goals, 20 dreams, all of them usually come down to 2 3 core emotions the person wants to feel, because the money is probably you want to feel secure or you want to feel free. Like, for instance, for me, most of my goals and desires are leading for me to feel free and to feel alive. I like traveling, for instance. I love traveling. It does something to me. And when I so my dream is to travel the world, very common dream, right? And when I got down to why I want that, it's because I want to, it makes me feel very free through self expression. Because when you travel by yourself, for instance, somewhere, it lets you to discover who you are because you're spending a lot of time with yourself, and it's a freedom of physical movement, right? Your freedom of location and freedom of experience, and whatever you want, right? Being in nature, do whatever you want. It's very freeing experience, and with that also it makes me feel alive. So I noticed that most of my dreams or goals or new reality I want to create is about me aiming for those feelings of freedom and feeling alive. Why is that important? Because when you start getting new opportunities, no matter how shiny they are, I teach my students you have to gauge that opportunity or maybe a new desire. You suddenly you have a goal in mind. You saw somebody got inspired, like I want that or I want to be that. What you do, because right now the world is full of distraction. The world is full of these other lives we want to live. But do we really need this? Do we really want this? Is it really for us? We don't take the time to really understand that. And so, what I say is that once you know your true core emotions, you have to gauge that new goal or new shiny thing against it, and ask yourself, does it bring you closer or takes you further away from that emotion? And so then it's easy to say yes and no. For instance, if I crave freedom, at the end of the day, I crave freedom of self expression and being location free, and somebody comes and proposes this great job promotion, or maybe a great business opportunity, but it's going to keep me locked in one city, in one place. I won't be as as mobile to travel, right? Does it bring me closer or further away? Maybe it brings more money, maybe it brings the title, but on the big scheme of life of how I feel fulfilled, it takes me away from it. So no matter how shiny and glamorous that may look, I would say no because it takes me away. It takes me further away from where I want to go. So
I know what you mean. I listened to a podcast episode with Cody Sanchez, and she's, for those who don't know, she's big on owning small businesses like laundromats, vending machines, and this and that.
I know her.
Yeah. And she was saying, like, you should own a small business. I was thinking, no, that is the last thing I want to do at the moment. Maybe in the future, but not at this current point in time. That would be absolutely suicide for me because that's just, it's not part of what I want. And
Exactly. Who you are.
yeah,
And the reason it's the interesting thing is to realize there is no right or wrong decision. They're all valid and they're all great. And you would probably become very successful at it as long as it follows your natural self, your highest self, your mission. It doesn't matter if people want to be successful or get money. It doesn't matter if you choose Shopify, dropshipping, TikTok, career, this and that. It doesn't matter what you choose. If you come with the right mindset, you'll succeed. If you don't have the right mindset in place, you won't. That's why many people succeed in one field and many fail in the same field, right? In the same business, because it's not like it's all works for all of us, right? That's why know thyself is very important. So you just save yourself time and energy and disappointment at the end, which probably going to disprove that this works, and actually get in the right path.